Did push broadcast?
Yep. Yep. We're all good now.
Alec, did you read into that finance, the numbers anymore? I didn't get a chance to read through all of it that you posted.
No, I mean, I think that's the headline right there is that $1 billion in revenue. That's ridiculous. That's just something that other people, it's going to force some hands into the space.
Yeah, it's just amazing how fast and how profitable.
Yep.
Even the speed of the electronic executions always amazed me. I remember when I first started using them, I was like, it doesn't even seem like this. They're really executing. It's like you click and it was filled. It's like it almost made me think that they were just filling, like telling the customer that they're done, and then trying to actually do the trades behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're for a centralized exchange. They're not. They're one of the better ones.
But I mean, he's had their background is all.
Yeah, they knew what they needed to accomplish.
Yeah,
they knew the right way to do it.
What's up, Lee Kulak? I don't know how to say your name, but hey, buddy. How are you guys doing this morning? I've been busy in FX. We'll get into Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff, but almost did $3,000, a couple hours of trading. Looks like Boris Johnson, he resigned. So the market took that as a negative for sterling. I think it's personally better for Europe or for UK and for anybody that wants Brexit, get Theresa May out of the way. But still that takes the pound down. Anyway, I was a little bit short Dragon. We just use our wall concepts, kind of like you guys were using. A couple of you caught dollar lira with me, and then there was two nice wall concepts in here on pound yen. We could go over. It's the same thing we talk about in crypto, but essentially you had this wall down, all this red to begin with, right here. I'll draw it like this. This was the start of the move down, and then we rallied about halfway up. I shorted there, covered some, and then we came right back to the middle again, and I hit it again, and then we got a bunch of follow through. So this was a nice trade. It was pretty textbook, just going with the power of the flow. Alec, have you been doing anything in crypto this morning?
Not too much. Just trying to take a look at some of these smaller projects coming on the scene. Trying to catch up on the weekend's news.
Yeah. Well, what had stuck out to you over the weekend?
Not too much. There hasn't really been a lot. Just a lot of development news. I haven't really seen much. I think over the weekend, South Korea came out with some positive regulation news. Other than that, not too much else.
Yeah. Well, I think I kind of highlighted in our room, right, in the crypto room, there's a couple pivots. It's the same pivot that we had last week right here. It's just in front of 6,800. So when we traded, we first had this real money candle here off the double bottom, right? And then we had another follow through. So we had all this strength on the way up, and then just a tight consolidation. But price stayed within the top third of this move, which is bullish. And then we got the follow through here. But on this move up, we talked about it made sense to put some offers right in front of this level. So that's what I was getting lifted on a little bit here. We bought futures really well down here. So I lightened up a little bit on cash just to give myself some more ammo in case we retested down here. I'm not so sure we get it, but we could see we could struggle again here at 6,800, both in futures and in cash. So this is clearly the pivot right now on the upside. You also have pi coming into this. It's all the same area, but if we can clear this zone, then we should be able to retest 7,700. So another 1,000 points on the up. And so I've just been trading it around a little bit in futures. If we can get, there's a little bit of a, you can actually see it better. Let me just switch to, I'll switch to the futures chart. As I drew the regression on the futures already. Euro pounds really come back up, and shorting that a little bit in the last 20 minutes. So my thinking is I'm just going to add back to my futures long. If we get back towards this area, 6,500, maybe a little bit lower. I missed a couple of these buys. I didn't have bids in. But I think that's the zone. And then again, 6,800 is then the resistance. If we were to take out this low here, 6,400, and you get a little bit of support here, then maybe you fall back to 6,000. But I think you definitely want to be a buyer on a retest of this whole area and just keep trading it around. You guys want to look at the cycles? What's up, Jan? DGB? Alec, do you have an opinion on them?
No, I mean, I took a look at them before. I don't really understand what the excitement is, but a lot of people like it. I think it's been performing pretty well.
It has been ripping for sure. Let me go back to crypto chart. Yeah, that's a nice move. You got to be taking some here. I mean, you held pi. This is a nice hold of pi. Not surprising at all. But nice series of higher lows. You took out this lower high, which is bullish. So you had this pattern first, and then you cleared all that. So this looks good. On the next pullback, you can stay with that. Definitely want to be taking some profits up here, though. I wouldn't take it all off. Take some here, take some more up here. And then, yeah, you can be a buyer in this next pullback. I mean, 50% retrace. You just treat this, guys, as one solid move up about halfway. This is a good spot to start buying back in. Yeah, I don't know enough about them as far as the project goes. It definitely trades well, though. Isn't that Scotty been kind of all over that one? Who was talking about that in the room, Alec?
Remember, I think a few people have. It's a pretty popular coin.
I mean, that's just versus BTC. Do we have it versus kind of similar chart? Versus the dollar, it's kind of already back to that resistance, that weekly resistance. I guess that's 50-cent line, right? A little bit different chart there. But essentially, you've already doubled off the lows, so definitely would be taking some profit into, or not 50 cents. Sorry, guys, 5 cents. 5 cents. Yeah, a couple other things I looked at this morning. Salt's one of the bigger altcoin positions we have, and it's trying to put a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders on the daily. Talked about this in the room also. You're getting lower. You've had these series of lower highs and lower lows. But right here, to me, this is just one of the ways a market can bottom. But maybe we're getting the right shoulder here. And then this is kind of the neckline, or this area is the pivot. If you can get above here, $1.40, then you probably rally at least 50% of this move down. It's kind of right in here. So I'm gonna watch it here at a buck again. Um, if we take out that pivot high, then I'm probably gonna double my position one more time and then take off profit on the rally back up in this area. Maybe we get $1 out of it. If it doesn't form the shoulder and it takes out the low, I'll probably still add to it, but I'll do it in more of a patient manner as we go back towards zero. I was looking at that this morning. Ether hasn't really moved that much. Litecoin still looks pretty cheap. 0x had a really great run the last 3 weeks, but the cycle's pretty high. You probably need to be taking profit, and then you look to add back to that again, like 50% of this move up kind of puts you towards 75 cents. 0x. I didn't see much going on with Aeon. What other names you guys thinking you want to look at? Getting a little bit of a bounce back on your Kiwi.
Have you seen the new Ledger update?
No, I had my ledger in on Saturday. I think it said something about the firmware. Is there something? Is there
Yeah,
another
and
update?
yeah, they updated the. There's like a whole new dashboard you could download that tracks your portfolio, like charting, a little basic charting. It's
Within
pretty
the
nice.
within the ledger app?
Well, no, but it's a Ledger platform that connects to your hardware device. It's pretty cool. It tracks everything. It's just a much more sleek and easy to use interface.
So where do you get that from? Their website?
Yeah.
I have to check that out. I still have troubles with the. Not that I'm that have that much going on in Ripple, but that Ripple app was double checking how much I had. And it doesn't really open very well. There was some issues with that. Well, I didn't know that, Alex. You take a look at that.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I haven't updated. I was working on updating my firmware over the weekend, but this just came out a few hours ago, I think.
Is it under?
You got to go to apps up top. The top bar.
Ledger Live. Well, that's better. That's a better user interface. Well, that's better. That's kind of like Exodus. You can see what coins you have, what percentage is making up your portfolio. Now it tells you like what's. I don't know if do you use them at all. You guys use Exodus? You can pop on there and it tells you like what's up on the week, like 24-hour asset, what it's done, what percentage.
I'm just happy I don't, have to use that. I can't wait to not have to use those Chrome plugins. Those are so annoying. I had so many problems with those just repeatedly.
You mean through Ledger?
Yeah, like you have to like download the Chrome plugin in order for those to work.
Oh yeah.
Is it terrible?
Yeah, I kind of like getting away from Google. Let's see what other coins. I've been having troubles with my relative value charts. Let's see if they're looking better. Yeah, this one's messed up. This one's okay. So 4 hour looks like BTC to start the week is actually leading the way here off the lows. It's definitely been a little bit of a widening out on the spread between the majors. I mean, BTC is definitely sticking out on the 4 hour. Daily, it kind of has Ether on top. Hourly, Ether and BTC leading the way up. All right. My coin still looks pretty cheap. Let's look at the cycles, kind of where we're at on Bitcoin coming into this week. So we still don't have the next major long-term wave turning up until August. The next shorter wave is July. That was July 6th, coming into the July 20th, 19th, 20th. So I guess here on the 6th, we didn't turn back down, so it makes me think we can continue here. We just need to get above the 6,800 pivot, and then we should be able to rally into the 20th from a timing perspective. And then we got another turn July 24th. There's kind of a lot lining up here from a cyclical perspective across all three durations. And that's pretty meaningful. When all these waves, when you have a confluence of waves, that's when you tend to get the bigger moves. So you have the longer term turning up. We've got this turning point, we've got this turning point, and this turning point. So between the here, and here, I think as long as we're above 6,000, there's a good chance that was maybe the low and we can rally into the back half of this year. It's definitely possible. So we'll see. This is really the next turn to see how we what plays out into September also. But I do like that we stayed above the 8 coming out of July 6th. So should probably rally into the 20th. So what do we have, another 11 trading days? You guys want to look at nulls and Neo? All right, cool. Quark chain? Yeah. Is that QKC? Yeah, we'll hit these tickers. All right, Hills, you're welcome. Is the screen frozen? I might just be slow on switching it over occasionally. I'm trying to watch my Forex trades at the same time. You just got to pop on Euro, Kiwi, and probably should have took some off. I just missed that. Oh, well. Let's see why we're talking right here. I was nibbling long. I'm of course short Euro Kiwi, a pretty big position. It's actually my biggest position. And we had this little pop just right here. It could have came out of both of these longs right into that high. Just scalping it around. That's all right. All right, let's hit some of these coins you guys just asked for. I'll try to go in order. Nulls. Oops. Switch back over. was kind of looking at Binance Coin to add this morning also. I think I probably will. That one has some really nice intermediate term moves and some near term cycles. That chart's obviously been one of the strongest crypto charts on the planet. You can look at that in a second. Knowles trades well. We made pretty good money on this at the end of last year. I like that it held this base, whatever level that is, 30,000 sats. So this is versus BTC, but this was the base it was in before he had this leg up. And then we broke the bands, which set in motion the move back to the 200, but essentially just held that same base again. So I like all this action. I like this candle above the highs. This is all bullish. This is a nice higher low. So everything's bullish this way. I didn't add anything to this one. We had a small position that might be worth adding to. Let me see if I can bring it up versus Tether and the dollar. Not much on that chart. I guess versus Tether, you got a little bit of resistance at $3. It gets above there. I mean, I don't see much above. Then you just got to use this BTC chart. That trades well. They have another coin burn on the 19th. Do you know how much? Like 0x. It's just, we talked about it just a little bit earlier when we first got on. 0x trades really well. We've been long. We made a good call to buy a couple weeks back, and we kind of at levels now where you got to take some profit. And we're going to wait on like a 30%, 50% pullback to add back. I'd be taking profits though on 0x. Stay long, but it's had a pretty good run. That's definitely one of our favorites. What was a couple of these others you guys asked about? Neo. Neo, we talked last week, looked really bullish. I added back to. So this is Neo on Binance. You could see it's back to levels where it broke out from in December. I mean, it's just really cheap. I really like Neo. We added to it last week. If you look at it on Bittrex, back when it was Ant shares, and then it broke out, had that crazy run to almost 200, and now you're all the way back to that same base. So this is a long-term buy zone. Your cycles are all really low. So you guys want to treat these as areas. You don't want to get crazy about levels all the time. Trading is about, everything is relative in trading, not absolute. So like people, even when they look at the economic data, oh, the number is good versus what the expectation was, or the number's bad versus the last month's number. That's not what really matters. It's, you got to look at the year over year, and you got to look at the change. The rate of change is what matters. So you can have a good number, but it can be on the downside of coming from a great number. So it's not a absolute thinking process. It's a relative process. If I have earnings or I have GDP go from great to good, is that accelerating or decelerating? That's rolling over on the margin, as we call it. So when you think about it in terms of a cycle, your actually growth is slowing. That's what a lot of people miss when they're trying to analyze growth. But so you want to think everything's relative. This to me is a zone. This is a whole buy zone. When you want to trade longer term, like I don't get hung up on, we broke 25. Now I want to be short at 23. It's like, no. This whole zone is where I want to accumulate because I think just like you had, this was a run up, you're going to have another one like that. You might even have one that goes to a new high. So timing obviously matters. This is when I doubled my position on, was it last week? And this day, whatever day that was, the 9th? No. 2nd. So I like Neo. I like that it's kind of riding the 8. If you want to look more near term, it just trades fine. I'm gonna keep buying dips. You can keep adding on the 4-hour cycles. We should probably trade this around more. This was a nice pullback here. This is a swing line setup in the model. So my traders know what that is. That's a buy, stop below the low. So I like that you got above the bands here. This is all bullish. What else? What was that one that was kind of off the cuff? I never heard of. QKC. No, I don't know anything about these guys. I don't know if you do, Alec.
I just Googled it, and there's 80% of the tokens are locked up. So that was enough for me.
Locked up by who?
They own 80% of the tokens.
Oh, okay.
So that's enough to not pay any more attention to it.
Yeah, it's above the 8 versus BTC. No better chart than Binance. I mean, it got above the 8 on the daily. Their cycles come up. Maybe you play along there, but you got to. I would use that low from the other week. It's kind of where your risk is. It's moved into a new intermediate term uptrend. So where I would take profit from here, if you're long, is kind of 50% of this move back. That's kind of this whole zone up here. If you bought well, that would kind of be your first target if it takes them off. Yeah, I don't know anything about them though. Stellar Lumens, XLM. Kind of treading water sideways. Oh, there's got to be a better chart to look at here. Is Bitfinex even in business? I could care less about them once they turned all their U.S. investors off. Bitfinex.
Oh yeah, they're still one of the biggest exchanges.
All right, if you look at it, Kraken, what was that? 17 cents, 15 cents. Versus BTC. I think you're a buyer of Stellar. I mean, you're above pi on the daily. This is one of the few charts that's, when you look price it versus BTC, that's clearly in an uptrend. I mean, you're above pi, the 200's rising. That's a name we've liked. It'll have more momentum if you get above the bands at 3,500 sats. That's one we trade around. Let's see, ZRX. Somebody said TRX. Nothing but lower highs. That's not good. Here you have BTC trying to make higher highs, and these guys can't follow the market. maybe it gets some life if you get a trade back above 42, or and then you got this pivot at 5 cents, 5.5 cents. Still, this is all bearish. That's kind of one of the few coins that's definitely making lower highs. Um, I don't know. This isn't one of the coins that we're very bullish on at all, and it trades the same way. BNB, yeah, we're core long there. I was talking about adding to it. Ooh, we can look at, yeah, let's look at Binance. Definitely like Binance. I mean, they're printing money. I mean, what can you say bad about these guys? This chart has just been solid. It's even in this intermediate term, if you want to call it a bear market for the intermediate term since the highs in Bitcoin. I mean, this is just a nice, steady, this is just pretty steady climb. This is the top of the range. This is kind of the bottom of the range. So I was looking at buying some more this morning. I just didn't get around to it. But there's nice moves even here on the hourly. So you pick a core long, trade it around. Let's look at the 4 hour. So there's nice moves here, guys. And look at these percentage moves off. Like if you're buying near pi on any of this weakness, if you're buying when the RSI is low, in here, we added back here. Here you held pi. You're basically down a pretty good percentage again off the highs. The RSI is not as low as it was a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, I'm a buyer here. I'm going to buy even more if we see 12 again. And what's these percentage moves up? So you held pi, you move away from the bands, there's 40%. This buy to our last signal was 16%. Then it moved to a new high, which you should always take profits on new highs. That was 30% rally. 12 again, back up to 15.5, 28%. That's what I mean. This is a great trading vehicle around your long-term investment. And there's another 20%. So the person that just holds, that just buys once and then holds, all their time is wasted in all these moves where you can be compounding your results. You'd be up 30% from, let's say, if you just bought here, versus you hold, you're up 30%, but then you take 25% or 50% of your core position and you trade it around. So there's a 40% chunk, you buy it back, and you make another 30% on that chunk, you buy it back. Another 25%, you buy it back. Another 20% rally. So you basically have 1, 2, 3, 4 20% plus rallies. That's another 80, 100% on top of your 36% for the person that just hodls. So this is how you really achieve much higher returns as a trader instead of, we've talked about that a lot. You can manage your risk, but there's ways to compound these returns by trading it around versus just a hodl approach. You guys, does that make sense to everybody? I mean, there's lots of this is one that we should be trading a lot more. I've been making a point to do it. So we're going to see more signals on that. We've been pretty active in it already, but there's still a lot more we could be doing on this coin. Alec, we could probably do a whole write-up on that concept.
Yeah, for sure.
selling some more euro pound. If any of you guys are trading forex, we're back to the top of the range. I mean, that's amazing. 20% per quarter. I mean, that just shows. I like the fact that those guys do what they say they're going to do. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the theory behind burning your token. I think they're going to look back 4 years from now, and yeah, they're taking the supply out of the market, but they could be buying back their token and putting it on their books as an asset. They're still taking the float out of the market, but I mean, 5 years from now, their token could be worth a hell of a lot more. It'd be on their books. It would be an asset to them instead of just throwing money out the door, basically. They're going to use 20% until 50% is burned. Pretty amazing. Alec, what kind of proof do we have that it's quote unquote actually burned?
I mean, you can see it put into the sent to the burned address, but I mean, what's a 1.8 million when they just made 100 billion in revenue? The token's just a network builder for them. That million equates to nothing for them, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
we just saw they made the article over the weekend. They made $100 billion. I mean, not $100 billion.
Yeah, a billion. So their last burn was 30 million, I think.
I'm not too sure.
I don't know. There's no reason why this coin isn't going to be 10 times higher in a short period of time, year or two, and that's 300 million that could be on your balance sheet. You can do a lot more from a company perspective with 300 million. I get the burn. It's kind of creative. It's something new. It's innovative. I just think you buy it back and stick it on your balance sheet.
Yeah, but that doesn't really build your network. You know, I mean, I think that's the tool they're using. Say, hey, this is what we're doing. You know, your token is going to go up in value pretty much.
Well, I mean, but they could still say that same promotion. They're buying back their token. I mean, they're a huge buyer in the market.
Yeah, you're right.
I think the only reason you destroy it is because then, in theory, you don't have the potential for the company to just unload. I mean, if you had a project that just wants to pump and dump, in theory, then at least you could feel a little bit more confident that they burned it. They're not going to enter the market and just unload it and smash the market. But
yeah,
from a management perspective, if you care about your company, I don't think that's something you'd be doing. You could still sell. You could still. I mean, if I was at their treasury and I was a trader at their firm and I was in charge of working at their position, just like IBM buys back their stock or anybody else, you could be long, and 5 years from now want to raise some cash and sell some of your Binance token. They could do it over a quarter and do it in a way that doesn't smash the market. But I get it. In theory, they could dump all their token if it wasn't burned. I just think you're going to look back and be like, wow, that was kind of stupid. Our token's up 100 times. There would have been another $1 billion or in all their buybacks. Maybe even more. Yeah, Jed, I know what you mean. That's the FUD that they'll dump on the holders. It's innovative. I don't, from a business perspective, I think if you're thinking longer term, I'm not sure that's the best idea for the company, really. Either way, it's bullish though. I like that they're doing what they said they're going to do. I actually like that more. If they're executing and Yeah, so I think we buyers here today. I'm gonna add again. I'm gonna be a buyer all the way back to 12. Oh, Walton coin. Yeah, I haven't looked at that. That's a good reminder. I haven't looked at that one in a while. We had some good buys on a Mise Go as I'm scrolling down. Pretty much caught the low. It's actually pulled back 50% from the high. It might be time to add one more time to it. Daily cycle is kind of high. Where's Walt? Alec, you still long your WTC?
Yeah, a little bit. I really lightened up.
I guess it doesn't trade as great. I mean, that's versus this is versus Bitcoin. It's still making lower highs. It'd be nice if it could get back above the bands and kind of change its momentum. But really, there's so many of these altcoins that have traded back to their prior bases. So typically, when a market does that, you want to be a buyer. You just have to be a little bit maybe more patient in how you accumulate. Um, but we were taking profit on the rally up here. Now you'd be wanting to buy back. We should probably start to look to add on decent dips here on this one. Daily cycle's kind of high. It's trying to, it's definitely trying to trade better. 4 hours finally making higher highs. You still would like to get above the pie line though. We got V Chain. That's another name we like. Again, still making lower highs. Intermediate term. That's coming back into its low support also. So yeah, we like Neo Gas. Same thing. It's had a good rally. I'm gonna keep buying dips there. Get the daily cycle back down. We timed our sales on EOS really well. It's kind of fallen out of the news cycle. And they've got some issues, but from a chart perspective, you probably should be a buyer back here towards the 200. Everyone that chased the whole launch news, that was the wrong thing to do for sure. Now is a little bit better time to come back in. What else? We hit a bunch already. What are the catalysts this week for crypto? Anything? It's kind of hard to know.
Yeah,
At least with
I think it's all going to be development based. You know, not much else in planned news, at least.
yeah, uh, that's good to know about Binance though. What was that this week, or do they just do it throughout the month? A buyback.
Oh, they do it all at once. I think at the end.
So they're doing it this week.
Oh, I have no idea. I think someone else probably know that.
I think they know where they want to buy it. I bet they're buying here all the way back at 12. And then you get the rally on the announcement that they buy back X amount. Then it rallies, and then you got to take profit into the news. I don't know if there was anything catalyst on Neo. overall markets are going to kind of anchor on this Brexit stuff, this whole shakeup with Boris and Theresa May this week. And then you got Trump going to Europe also. Probably more trade war, blah, blah, blah. You guys, I'll do a couple more coins here. BNB burrs July 15th. So, okay, so it's 3 days. All right, that's thankful. That's helpful. Thanks, Em. Yeah, 15th through the 18th. Never traded APPC. No. We can look at Bitcoin Cash storm chart. Man, I can't say some of your guys' names, but Veslanovich. Appreciate that. Storm BTC. Are you guys all on Binance? I'm pretty sure everybody here probably has an account, right? I really haven't liked Bittrex trading platform since they changed their user interface. Still using it. Doesn't flow as nice. I think we had some people trying to run master nodes on this. I don't know much about the coin. See which chart looks best. I mean, if you could be a buyer, anytime you can be a buyer, again, back towards prior spot where the market broke out, that's better than chasing the highs. So this was a real money candle in our model, and then you pulled back 50%, couldn't hold it, and then did more like a 80% retrace before another leg up. It's too bad that it couldn't hold all the support. So maybe you'll base again down here. But you got to get this chart back above the bands before you're going to have any type of major rally like you did back here in April. I don't have a position on there. Salt Jordan, we hit earlier. Alec, do you record these? Salt's trying to put in an inverse head and shoulders. We'll see if it holds a buck. If it trades back through $1.40, I'm gonna double my position. If we can't hold a par or a dollar, we're gonna probably trade back to towards zero. So I'll still gonna add to Salt. I'll just do it in a slower fashion if we break the buck. Aeon, I didn't. Still bullish. Aeon. We could look at WAN. Oh, Lisk was one I haven't looked at in forever. Oh, somebody wanted Bitcoin Cash. Let's see. To me, Bitcoin Cash is just going to have a ramp. I mean, it's basically double bottomed in front of 600, but it's making lower highs. I mean, it'll run if Bitcoin runs. I haven't done much. The last thing I did in Bitcoin Cash was sell in front of 1200, and I haven't even bought any back yet. I probably missed it right in front of 600. But we'll wait. I'd rather wait to see if Bitcoin turns back up before playing this long. I kind of treat it secondary to all the other majors. We can look at Aeon. And then probably got a hop here, guys. This is versus BTC. I mean, I like this project. I just don't think it's in everybody's awareness on a global stage yet. So there's probably a lot of value here. The problem when you're making lower lows is you got to be patient. So you're in a downtrend longer term. So you can add and be contrarian. Like we have a position here. I think this might be one of the biggest winners if Bitcoin breaks out the back half of this year. It's just you still aren't making higher highs yet. It looked better when we got above the bands, but as we all know, Bitcoin just didn't want to rally. So sure enough, you're back at new lows. I don't like that it couldn't hold this double bottom. So I don't know if I'm going to add to it anymore unless we get to really stupid levels, like maybe another lower low down here towards 10,000 sats or something. This daily cycle is rolling back over too. We do like this team and this project though. I think this is going to trade like 0x at some point. It's just going to come ripping back. There's other charts that look a little bit better. WAN. I don't have a chart versus USD. Still making lower highs here, so technically you're in a long-term bear market. I'd use this as your pivot. You have this high, and then you have the bands here. It's a little bit better. I think you kind of be patient. This is just one big long-ass swing line. So until you can start making higher highs, you're not going to really be on the right-hand side of the chart, as we call it, or the right-hand side of the cycle. Alex, do you have anything else to say on that token?
Not really, no. No, you said it. Good project.
Yeah, so what else? All right, guys. We can chat more. Somebody should come join our crypto trading team. It's less than the price of cable. So it's well worth it when we're just earning money back, just trading some of this stuff around. But this is kind of where we talk about more of these tokens. And obviously, if anybody cares about trading in the other markets, I mean, we're day trading Forex every day. So if you guys, I mean, Block Edge Capital is kind of going to be the new home base. So underneath education, though, is all our services. So this is our training course. You learn the whole model. This is our private crypto team I was just talking about. This is my live webinar trading group. We trade twice a week. This is for more serious traders. That's where I'm basically teaching them to have, 1% and 2% days on a consistent fashion. So, I mean, I did this in a couple hours trading today, almost $3,000. So this is where you get in. It's tough to trade crypto on such a micro fashion. I mean, today I was literally trading the 1 minute on cable and pound versus the yen. It's a little bit tougher to do that in crypto unless you're swing trading it. So for day trading, these markets are deeper. You can get in and out, tight spreads. Now I can't even trade Bitcoin on this platform. You guys look at how wide the spread is here. This red. It's 66.96 by 67.51. So it's $150 versus the pip spreads here. I mean, euro yen is 1.5 pips. So these are deep markets. You could trade big size and have really big days and not even move this market. We have hundreds of traders sometimes trading in here, and we still just a drop in the bucket. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's kind of where we can get you started. Just come in the chat room for anybody that's interested in that stuff. We could start right here. Chat room. Go back. So again, go blockedgecapital.com, and then under education, this free to come in the chat room and we can get you where you need to be. Whether if you're interested in training or interested in joining our trading team, trading every week together with us, or you just want to be in the crypto private room, we'll get you in there also. Loop ring, do one more. Is that a real coin? What's the symbol on that? I think the clan is just yanking me around. XD? Really? Digital note? Wow, this has had some wide swings. LRC? All right, let me look at it a second. This has had a massive run. Huh? I don't know anything about these guys. If you look at this, if you just eyeball the different cycles here, this was obviously a longer term one. So you're probably due for another one of these types of moves. But this is some serious percentage moves on this. So you could trade it. You're back at support. It broke out back here in December. You're kind of bouncing along the bottom right in front of it. So if you're bullish on this, this is a better time to be accumulating than chasing the high here in May. That's some crazy movement though. LRC. Is this a coin that is doing something I'm not unaware of? I never heard of these guys. See, I just see these cycles, guys. This one to me makes me think you're going to bottom out again down here and you're going to have another move up back to this high. So kind of got to be patient. You're making lower highs, but there's a time and a place to go contrarian. And then what you do is you try to add, if you can nibble well, then you can double your position when you take out the TMS, or what we call the swing line, something like that. And you can see the intermediate term is just, it's not quite ready yet. Lots of lower highs, can't get above pi. Every one of these little spikes is met with selling. Kind of the tough part about buying lower lows. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your trading day. I'll be on with my team in the morning, and we'll see how the rest of this cable sterling news shakes out. And hopefully I'll talk to some of you guys in the chat. But thanks for popping on, Alec.
Yep. Until next time, guys.